Who's Scruffy-Looking?
Hello there, all you Rancors and Rontos, and welcome to the Scruffy-Looking podcast, the show where we talk about all things related to that galaxy far, far away. I'm Dakota Hayden, and with me is my co-host and dad, Mark Hayden Jr.
Hello.
How's it going, Dad?
Going pretty good.
Good.
Tired of the weather being like Hoth. I'm ready for a little more closer to Tatooine, but not quite that hot.
Yeah, not. We'll settle for an Alderaan, I think,
Oh,
before it gets blown up.
Yeah.
Don't need it that hot, for sure.
Yeah.
So, for today's episode, as we covered previously last month, we talked about the first 4 episodes of the Skeleton Crew. That's what we saw before that time. Obviously, we're in January now. As of filming this, Skeleton Crew's been over for, I think, a couple weeks now.
A couple weeks, yeah.
So we have the whole perspective now to go over. Overall, as a whole, what did you think? Did you, because I know we've talked about it, that the episodes were hitting solidly, but the ending, I felt like, and you felt like, kind of fell flat a little bit, but it wasn't bad for what it was.
Right. Overall, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I went into it with no expectations. I thought it was a fun show. I guess I wanted a little bit more from the final episode. It was okay. It wasn't bad, but I felt like it could have had a little bit more to it. I didn't like how they just kind of left Jod.
Yeah, he just kind of
I feel. I kind of liked the first few series when they did the final episode had the little post-credit scenes. I really liked those. I kind of would like to have seen one here where maybe it showed him in jail or something, or just I don't know,
whatever happened to him because he just was there and left.
Yeah,
So.
I wish they would have kept doing that. I kind of always look forward to seeing one little teaser thing or whatever. But yeah, overall I liked it. I think the final episode. I think my favorite part was seeing the B-Wings and actually doing something in live action instead of just flying by.
I completely forgot the B-Wings had that tri-laser thing that they could do.
Because they showed that in Rebels, didn't they? That little,
I'm pretty sure.
That little Mon Calamari dude.
Yeah.
Had created that.
Yeah, no, that was cool to see.
I like that a lot. The blockade runner that was landing, was that supposed to be okay, that's maybe Princess Leia?
I was wondering if they were kind of hinting to that. I mean,
without showing her, they kind of implied that was her, maybe.
And I could see them working like that. I mean, very well could. I would think with the importance of the planet, because I'm not gonna pat myself on the back here, but I called it on Atten being a little bit of a currency world, and I was when that was revealed, I was like, yeah, I knew where they were going. Anyway, with the implications of that, I would think the New Republic would want to jump on that really quick and get someone to figure out what's going on, what's been happening here and everything.
So the other planets were all destroyed, right?
Yes.
Except for Atten. Wonder what destroyed them.
I wonder, because it seemed to imply the one that we were at, which I'm not going to attempt to say the name again, because as I edited the last video, we mispronounced it every single time. But the other planet that we were at, they seemed to fall into a civil war almost. So I don't know if they were necessarily infiltrated or if they just kind of blew up from the inside. But I could see both things. I don't know. It's curious how they found all those planets, but they still never found Atten. Now I know we had the oh, crud, what's the pirate legend's name? It was, what was his name? I'm going to look it up. Tacrinid.
Oh, okay.
The Tacrinid, yeah. I was like, oh, it's there. On that regard, okay, I'm jumping all over the place now that I completely forgot the pirate legend's name. Back to my previous point. We know he found Atten. I would assume he knew about the other planets too. So I don't know if he would have had any other crews go and ransack that, or if they just accidentally got discovered by happenstance. I don't know.
You want to hear my thought?
What would you got?
Missed opportunity to tie it into the sequel trilogy.
How so?
Well, where did the First Order get all their funds? Where did the Emperor get all his funds to build that fleet? Mm-hmm. If they would have laid little hints that maybe it was the beginning of the First Order, that or the Imperial remnants or whatever ransacked those other planets and they just hadn't got to Aten yet, and that's where all the funds came from to start. I don't know if some of this has been covered in some of the books or comics or whatever. But maybe that's where they got the fundage to start working on finishing off Starkiller Base and the Emperor building his Sith fleet there.
I mean, that would make sense with all the credits that have gone to, and I didn't even think about that till they opened up the vault in the last episode. It's like these places have been working for years, or at least Aten has been working for years since the Republic. Like, and there's a lot of credits.
That would explain how the First Order was able to get so big and all that so fast, and if the New Republic didn't know those planets were there, but Palpatine did. And they was milking it dry and then destroying them as they're, wiping them out,
Yeah, for sure. So. No, that would have been a missed opportunity because that'd be a nice little, I like little tie-ins like that to kind of explain little nuanced things that you wouldn't necessarily think of.
And I think they need to start doing more things. I know that it seems like they're kind of timid with the tie-in stuff to the sequel trilogy a little bit, but I think they need to start doing more of that. That goes back to they need an animated series to tie in between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy to help some of it gel a little bit better.
100%.
Like we said, that Clone Wars did for the prequel trilogy and stuff. But I think that could have done something along those lines.
Yeah, maybe and they still might. I mean, I guess they could kind of tie into that, the remnants on that one planet that were in that Civil War, they could have been in hiding while that planet got ransacked, and then when the Empire left because, they milked it dry, then, they started going off after each other for what was left. So that could have been it. Or, what the pirates were going to do with Aten, they were going to, take the whole planet hostage and be keep making the credits, and then, you serve us now, basically. So that could have been that situation too. But yeah, I agree. I'd be curious if they try and tie that in together in that way, because that would be a really good way to tie. I'd appreciate that if they just, it's the little things. You don't need it, but it's cool to have it, and it kind of adds reinforcement to a lot of things, which is always appreciated. And especially with the sequel trilogy, we need, I think we both think we need a little bit more sustenance to make that more believable. So.
Yeah, I need an animated series to help with Luke to start showing him kind of going to where he got to in the sequel trilogy to kind of soften the blow.
Exactly. To make sense of the character, because we went, in the original trilogy, we went through the hero's journey. Luke got to this point to where he is the man, and then all of a sudden now he's a hermit on the sequel. We need to know where he went from there to here.
And I watched a clip from a Star Wars Theory, and I apologize. I forget who the guy was that was on there that brought this up. And like it did with the Star Wars Theory, it kind of made me go, oh, wow, how everybody, we all kind of boy, that was so uncharacteristic of Luke when he was there with that night with Ben and he drew his lightsaber. And that guy brought up when he was kind of into Kylo's or Ben Solo's mind. Yeah. And maybe he saw the future and saw that Ben was going to kill Han. And how Luke in the original trilogy made some almost rash decisions to help his friends because he was so close to them. Yeah. And all that. And then he ended up making the right decision. So in that moment when he saw that, the first response was I'm just kind of paraphrasing what that guy said. His first response was, "You're not taking out Han." Yeah. And then he realized what he was doing. Okay. And I was and it just, I encourage people. I thought that was really well. That kind of blew me away too. I was like, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
that's little things like that kind of help. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I wish they would hammer in on stuff like that because that totally jives with how he was in the original trilogy and stuff. So that's I like that. I like that. But I can do some digging and kind of find the video. I'll link the Star Wars Theory video down below of the discussion that they had for that one to check it out, because it sounds like it's some good conversation on
I thought so
that.
Too.
So
I thought that guy had some good points.
Yeah, we'll link that down below. Okay, so going to more of our thoughts about how the Skeleton Crew wrapped up. Okay, so I was hoping to see a lot more from the supervisor instead of it being a droid.
Yeah, I was disappointed by that too. That might be my biggest disappointment, was there wasn't more to him.
Yeah, I mean, this. If you look at the series as a whole, it's supposed to be framed as like a kid's show, but they've done really well of juggling like kid elements and like something for us adults to watch and enjoy too, and like still build the Star Wars universe as a whole. I don't know. I feel like that was a missed opportunity to have the supervisor be something else besides a robot.
And, I don't like him being a droid, but at the same time, I can't think of what I would have rather him. I guess I didn't have anything in my mind like, oh, the supervisor's going to be this or whatever. So I don't even know what I would have preferred him to be honest. I mean,
yeah, I'm not sure. I still had my whack out there theory that, it was going to be like, I really wanted to see Hondo in this series a lot. So I was hoping like maybe the supervisor was like the pirates had already came and taken over at Aten, and Hondo was like scheming this big thing, and maybe he was the supervisor. That kind of an out there theory, but I was still hoping that we would see Hondo in this, but we never did. So that was unfortunate. But yeah, I don't even know who I would put in there in the supervisor spot.
The way it was tying in, like doing little throwback homages and stuff. It would have been kind of cool if there would have been this hologram of like this big dude or creature or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then coming to find out it's just some little guy back behind the
it's like one of Babu Freak's species behind the curtain.
Just kind of did.
You pull the curtain. Hey! That would have been good. But yeah.
No squeeze! Yeah, that would have been good. Been an Ewok back there.
Yeah. That would have been good. But yeah, that was it didn't hit, but don't know what we would have wanted to see anyway. But I feel like they could have done something a little bit different than just a robot.
Yeah, that kind of seemed like an easy. Of course, the way that whole scene went down, maybe they thought if it was like an actual humanoid type character, it would have been kind of harder to do that scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially if
he would have had a live being there. And he doesn't seem like the. I mean, he killed Brutus, which that surprised me how he just shot Brutus. That was
it just.
But when it came to like actually doing like a bad thing to a good person, he didn't seem like he could do it.
Yeah.
So if you had killing the droid supervisor's one thing, but if it would have been a sentient,
it might have been a little bit of a different setup
how would he
there.
have handled that? So
because he took it out with no problem. I mean, he took out 33 for that. So we thought that. I was shocked, and I was when we saw 33's head later, and that he was kind of like they reactivated him stuff. I'm like, okay, I figured they probably wouldn't kill him, but if they did just knock him off like that, I would have been shocked.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, he's like one of my favorite characters.
I like Brutus too. That's kind of.
Brutus was cool.
It added to this. That really shocked me. But I was like,
I got taken out by a punk. They grabbed him with the crane and just capped him off. Yeesh. Could have I at least wanted to see him go down like a gunfight or something like that. Ooh.
And the artillery being on top of the school was pretty well foreshadowed from the one.
Absolutely. As soon as when Neil was gonna be like, I have an idea, and he was gonna go off and do his own thing, I was like, instantly I knew exactly where he was going, and I thought that was nice, like story building to get us to that point.
And when the pirates were shooting at the kids on the speeders, I was like, these pirates must be all ex-stormtroopers because they can't hit nothing.
To their benefit, that speeder chase was millions of times better than the Book of Boba Fett speeder chase. Oh my goodness. I was watching that and I'm like, this is supposed to be the equivalent of bikes. And I don't like that. It was good. It was good, but it was like, why do we have it here, but we couldn't get it in like the Book of Boba Fett?
Right,
What changed?
Yeah.
Or maybe they were like, okay, we definitely can't do it like how they did in the Book of Boba Fett because that had backlash. But
I kind of thought there'd be more of a tie-in to the Mandoverse stuff. I mean, I didn't want to see Mandalorian or Grogu, and we've seen Carson Teva pop up so many places, but I thought there might have been maybe something a little bit more to go old, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the New Republic come in, but I mean,
a
character or something that.
Yeah. And it doesn't. I think we're far enough in the series at the moment that it seemed at the end of the series that Wim, as he was watching the X-Wings come in, that you could kind of see it in his eyes, like that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to join the New Republic and stuff. So I don't think we would probably see him in anything unless they did some kind of stories after the sequel trilogy, because I think his age would jive well in that.
If the supposed new Rey movies were going to
yeah. So I could see that if they wanted to bring him back.
They missed the opportunity with Wim there at the end of it. He should have reached out and pulled a broom to him.
Yeah, he should have grabbed a broom to him and be like, whoa! Yeah. Oh my goodness, I forgot about that part.
Opened up his cereal box and got a resistance ring out of it.
Yeah, just ooh. Oh goodness. So we saw Tak Rened's hidden vault underneath that like resort retreat getaway, which that was interesting to see.
Yeah.
And speaking of like the shots that we got from that resort, did you see that hut that was about ready to eat that servant guy? He's like, oh no, not again.
Right. No, that was funny.
That was good.
Yeah,
that was good.
And I liked I can't think of its name, but that creature with the long tentacles.
Oh,
that was kind of neat too.
That was cool. What was his name? His name started with like a G or something like that. Thalops? Cephalops? I don't know how to pronounce that. That looks about right.
Yeah, Cephalops.
Cephalops. Yeah, Cephalops. But yeah, that was a cool species to include there. How do you get down there?
Right.
He's huge.
And then that was another thing they brought in that bounty hunter, and I thought she looked pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dying. I want to see Dengar Bosk or
Yes.
or Forlong come back.
Yeah, because like
it doesn't need to be just a little cameo thing. If they would have had one of them standing there in the background, like with them or something, just be like, "Oh, hey!"
Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been
cool. That was one of my biggest disappointments with Book of Boba Fett.
We didn't see more of them.
When they get reinforced, was when they was waiting to get the reinforcements. I was like, oh, here we go. At least one of them. Have one of them.
For sure. I mean, at least it could have been Dengar, because I mean, in Legends, Dengar was the one who helped rescue Fett out of the Sarlacc pit when he got himself out. That would have been nice, just a nice tie-in.
And it would have been neat if you would have had it been Bosk and had the little confrontation between Bosk and Chrysanthemum.
Oh yeah,
the Promotions and the Wookiees.
That would have been cool.
That would have been kind of cool.
That would have been cool. But the resort was just an interesting piece to look at. And so Tak Rened's vault underneath the resort, I thought for a second, underneath the acid pit when they got through it and the pirates chased them down there, I thought for a second they just completely disintegrated all the pirates in that acid pit.
Like, whoa, that was kind of intense for
the
show.
Yeah. But it was a cool little thing. It kind of reminded me as they were getting into it, kind of like an Indiana Jones kind of spoof with it. So that was cool.
Yeah. And I liked it when Wim lit the lightsaber and
it was upside down. I wonder whose lightsaber that was.
Yeah.
Because Tak Rened was like a pirate legend, so I wonder where if you're a well-known pirate, eventually at some point you're gonna have a lightsaber. So I wonder who he got that off of. But that was hilarious.
And did you see that actress? I'm bad at remembering names. I'm getting old. But they had actually filmed Jod's master. Did you see that? That
little blurb that she was actually supposed to be have a thing in there. Yeah. She had the Nawood name, but I think it started with an N. But I saw that there was a lot of theories out there that like the storybook that Wim was reading all the time was about like her or something like that, just to kind of tie everything together.
Kind of neat to...
Yeah, that would have been cool. And that was interesting, too, to figure out that Jod was a Padawan. Because from what the story context said, it seems like he or she found him after the purge, or while the purge was going on. So it was after Order 66.
Then I thought it was interesting. They made him watch her getting killed. Why didn't they kill him too if they knew he was force sensitive?
I mean, if it was during the purge, maybe they would have tried to bring him in as a prospect for an Inquisitor, but then he escaped, maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, because that seems weird to just like, okay, go on, scurry off. Yeah. But yeah, maybe he would have ended up being an Inquisitor fodder or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Jude Law did a good job with that.
He did.
Yeah,
I really liked the character, and like you could tell he had some kind of morality to him, but you honestly never knew what he was going to do at any given moment of time. You didn't know if he was going to be more of a good guy or more of a bad guy, and then just and it was nice suspense to kind of keep you on the edge of your seat, just like, okay, what's he going to do in this situation? So no, that was good. He did a great job. Oh yeah. So turns out KB is a little bit of a mod, but I appreciate the way that it was done, and unlike what we saw in the Book of Boba Fett. So it seems like she's kind of more like I thought like a Lobot almost.
Yeah. So the mods in Boba Fett chose to have that done to where she had to have it done because
of an accident and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought they did really good job with that too. That scene with her and Wim and all that.
Yeah, I like that.
Around those trash crabs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay, so what are we talking about?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, of course. Yeah, of course. So anything, the ship, the Onyx Cinder, having that like outer armored shell, I thought was cool. That wasn't really something you see, because it looks like he had this like streamlined ship that he took to get armored reinforcement and like added guns and stuff like that. So when they did that, I was honestly kind of shocked, or I wasn't sure how they were going to get out of that situation when they were trying to pull out of that big trash compactor thing that was trying to chomp them up. And then when they finally did, I was like things were clicking, because we heard Tak Rendon talk about how, the ship's armored and ready to go, and we got guns and everything like that hooked up to it. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. I don't think we've ever really seen anything like that. Yeah. Like, that makes sense. It's like tricking out a car almost,
Well,
so.
You think that I guess they have an idea for a second season. You think they'll make another season of it?
I could see if it does. Well, see, that's the problem. Like, if it did well, which I liked it overall, it wasn't like top tier Star Wars, but it was enjoyable Star Wars to watch. But it seems like the ratings that it's gotten back from it after the fact hasn't been too high. A lot of people are saying it's because of backlash from the Acolyte, kind of like what happened with The Last Jedi and when Solo came out and stuff like that. But I'd enjoy to see a second season. So where'd they have kind of like the lead off to go into that?
Yeah, and then, at that age, you change so much. I mean, they'd have to do it a few years in the future or something like,
A little bit of a time jump, yeah.
I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah. Maybe.
Of course,
maybe.
I'm one of those in the minority that would have wanted Acolyte Season 2, but...
yeah. Just explain it.
Well, at least give me a different show with this and finish the Stranger story.
Yeah.
He was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've just kind of left it out there now. Yeah. So, anyway.
Give us a Plagueis series.
Yeah, all they really need to do is just take the novel and just put it in live action.
Yeah.
But that's too easy. Why would they do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps up things with the Skeleton Crew overall. If we think of other things, I'm sure we'll pop it in here and there, whether this episode or the next episode. We like to sprinkle a little bit of everything in these episodes. But the other big news that we have going on, Star Wars-wise, is we have new news regarding the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. The one thing I'm particular about is the recent announcement that apparently Embo, y'all remember Embo from the Clone Wars, spinny hat guy? He's the big bad in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. What do you think?
I don't know about him being the big bad, but I'm excited to see him in live action.
Absolutely. I liked him in the Clone Wars. Like, I'm excited to see him in live action.
Definitely one of my favorite characters from Clone Wars. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see him in live action.
I just don't understand how they can use him as, like, the big bad. I mean, he doesn't have, like, big bad name draw.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see him being involved in something at the beginning of the movie that kind of leads to what the rest of the movie is, but having him be the main bad guy doesn't seem.
I'm not.
And I hope he's in it. I hope this isn't some misdirect they're putting out, but I'd really like to see. And Filoni voiced him in the Clone Wars, so you would think.
Oh yeah.
That's probably. So.
I'd say so.
You know, we saw the Mandalorian on that snow planet. Maybe we get to see Embo sledding on his, on his hat.
That's how Mando's taking that ATRT just going down the hill, and Embo's just gliding on his hat.
See Embo go,
That's funny.
And then I guess he's got a different dog. You remember he had that dog?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Named Marok, so they have to change it because you had the Inquisitor in the Ahsoka show named that.
Yeah.
But then if I recall right, I believe I heard somebody say, like I said, I haven't read all the current books, that his dog he had got killed in one of the novels.
Oh, okay.
That takes place afterwards. So.
Well, at least they don't just say like, "Hey, it's the dog's this name now." It's a new dog. So
yeah, I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see Rada.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see like what he's been up to.
Now I heard a rumor that Rada gets kidnapped, and I'm like, don't
Not
do
again.
that. Unless it's a running joke. Every so many years we get a new story with him in it, and he's kidnapped. He just gets kidnapped all the time.
That'd be kind of funny. Oh man, yeah, because like we haven't heard heads or tails of what happened to Rada since that Clone Wars movie.
And then I heard a rumor that the Hutt twins from the Book of Boba Fett are in the movie too.
Okay, so, that'd be good because it seems like they were trying to become like big players.
Yeah, maybe there's some kind of. Maybe it starts off and there's some kind of feud between them and Rada, and then Embo's involved with that, with the Mandalorian and stuff, and they get past that, and then it gets into the...
See, I could see if they do it like that, and if Embo, if it isn't a misdirection, we're actually going to get Embo and stuff like that, and it's basically Hutt's hiring bounty hunters to go after a target, and that I could see and be fine. It's not like, Embo's this big bad guy that Mando's trying to stop. Well, I guess he is in a sense, but that in that context, I could see it, and I think it would work really well.
There's one thing they got to do, along with whatever the Hutt story, if there's a Hutt story in it.
Yeah.
Somehow Zero the Hutt's returned, and he's got spider legs.
somehow Zero has returned,
and he's got spider legs like Darth Maul.
I don't know how they got me out of here. I got these spider legs now. Poor Zero, he got shot by his girlfriend on that one planet.
I just watched that episode the other day too. I'm kind of going back and watching oddball, Clone Wars episodes I haven't seen in a long time. And I just watched that one the other day. I was like, Zero always got so much flack. I always kind of liked him. I always thought he was kind of funny. So I was always kind of disappointed they didn't do a figure of him or anything like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. They never did. Yeah, because I remember. Oh my goodness, I remember that. Around that time, weren't people buying extra Jabbas and like doing customs to make him look like Zero? Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then you remember his mom.
Oh yeah.
She had like them look like starfish things growing.
Yeah. There's some good stuff out of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of you that are watching now that already have seen the Clone Wars, but if you haven't, it's a fun, it's a good watch. Like the fun like.
There's definitely some kiddie-ish episodes, but then there's some really good.
Exactly.
Really good, just like Rebels, some Clone Wars and Rebels have some of my favorite Star Wars. There's some pretty deep, good stuff in there, but there's also some aimed towards the kiddies, and that's fine too.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's
good fun. So.
Good for everyone. So no, it's great. It's great. Now I know we had a release. Do we have a release from The Mandalorian and Grogu? Or like a year stamp?
May of 2026.
I thought so. I thought it was 2026 for that. So, yeah.
I realize I think they're all done filming and all that. So it's coming. I'll believe the release date when I'm sitting in the theater watching.
That's true. That's true. Because too many times has it happened that we think it's going to go one way and it gets scrapped, dropped off, delayed. However, it's just kind of the state of things at this point. Yeah. So I guess we'll see. I would think with a big name like Mandalorian and Grogu, they would push to have, especially with how popular that's been, they would push to have that come out when they're saying it's going to come out. So I would guess. But I don't think...
You think we'll see a first like short trailer for it, teaser trailer,
celebration? Because
they'll probably show the footage that they showed.
Yeah, the footage that we didn't see. Yeah,
maybe add a little bit to it.
Yeah, that would make sense to me because they haven't had like an actual like solid like, hey, get hyped for the movie yet. Besides what we definitely didn't see at all. I would assume they'd do something like that.
I would think before too long we'd get maybe a nice trailer for Andor season 2.
I would think so.
That's coming up in April, so
yeah, that's coming close.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good time. That's gonna be a good time. I'm hoping it's as good as that they're hyping it to be, but in the sense of like it just makes everything that we've seen Andor wise, Rogue One just so much better. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we had rumors about a new clone animated series coming out. Now it's not, I don't think it's confirmed heads or tails whether or not we're getting it, but there's been rumors floating around that that's in the works. And I know you've expressed already to me before the podcast, I think we're a little done with clones right now.
I like clones, but I need something different in animation right now. I mean, we had the Clone Wars and we had Bad Batch. I mean, ready for something different. And then supposedly there's 2 animated things in the works, and like we was talking before we started, that one of them was probably some kind of Tales of.
I would assume so.
I'm hoping it's like Tales of the Bounty Hunters or something.
That'd be good.
Something like that.
I'd like to see something like that. Give me Tales of the Bounty Hunters, and just tell a bunch of backstories. You have years for Boba Fett that you could throw in there. You have other bounty hunters like Dengar, Bosk, Forlom, and Zuckuss, like we were talking about. Like you can make stories of those. If you wanted to, I would really like it if you went back and told some stories about Jango Fett, but make it authentic to how it was in Legends. Honestly, if you told the entire comic series of open seasons in an animated episode, I wouldn't complain for that. And on the regards of the potential rumor clone episode show, I'm okay with it if they do Delta Squad, because I'm partial to Delta Squad, and they did Scorch dirty and the Bad Batch. I'm sticking to it. I know there's a lot of people out there that are complaining how they handled Scorch. I get it. I know why. I get why they handled him the way they did. Cool that they used him. Yeah, whatever. He's not the Scorch I remember from the video game, so I'm going to complain about it. Yeah, that's all I got to say on that one.
Yeah, I don't know where... I'm trying to think how the Bad Batch ended and stuff. I don't know. There's nothing else really to tell there. I mean, we don't know what their fates ultimately are, but what else? What else are you going to tell?
I mean, you could pretty well on their side of the story, you can pretty much just say, yeah, they lived a retired life on that. On that planet, and I think that's fine. I mean, that last scene, which spoilers for Bad Batch if you guys haven't watched it, check it out. It's a good watch. When Omega, when we got that last scene at the end with Omega growing up and she was going to join
that was a good scene.
That was a really good scene. I think that's just all you needed. If we saw Omega later on, sure. Yeah. I mean, why not? But like, as far as the clones go, like they're done.
Don't you have to have at some point Omega and Boba Fett cross paths?
I would think you need to. That just seems like, because Boba Fett was the first one, Omega was the last one. There's story right there that you could just, just similar path. You know what I mean? They came from the same place. Like you got to have it.
Somebody go, your sister. So you have a clone sister.
Yes. Yeah, but that would be. I'd love that. I think if they would get you don't even have to do it in animation. If you were to cast an actress that looked well enough like Omega and had him in like another Book of Boba Fett series, she came out of the woodworks or something like that.
Just put a blonde wig on Tamora Morrison.
Yes, that would be hilarious. He's just talking to himself. Right. That's all. Oh, that'd be funny.
Mayanosha.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? That's Oh, that's good.
I would, if they ever do another like live action thing back in that time period, it would be neat to see a live action Bad Batch, but I'm not sure how since their physical traits are so like with record and stuff, I don't know how you do that, but that'd be kind of...
That would be cool. I'm sure you could probably do something with special effects and kind of morph them up, but like then you have, like you just said, you have that kind of issue where like every live action clone we've ever seen has been Tamara Morrison's face, so to try and morph that to the... Well, now I take that back because...
In Revenge of the Sith, there's different... That other actor played something like to kind of show an age difference.
Yeah. So maybe you could kind of get away with some things. If they went I don't know if you've seen those Sideshow Collectible 6-inch figs of the Bad Batch, where they tried to do like a realism face scan on them that I thought looked really good.
Cool, huh?
They could potentially do something like that with Tamara Morrison's face and would kind of make it work, I think, if they wanted to. But yeah, I did. As far as like their story or anything like that, I mean, if you wanted to tell some kind of battle that happened in the Clone Wars and they popped up just randomly for like a stealth op or something like that.
Another live action series I would like is just a Tales of live action where like maybe 3 episodes take place in one time period with this character, or even they're just one episode little short stories about different characters or whatever that just kind of tells like a Dengar adventure where he's out after a bounty or something, and maybe have a little something that ties into it to something else or whatever. But I like to see little short stories of a variety of different characters and a variety of different time periods. Yeah.
It helps build the lore a lot, and I Star Wars is just this huge galaxy. We're focusing on the main hitters of the storyline, which ultimately follows the Skywalker lineage, and we see like these different actions that convolute with this and like contribute to that. But there's so much else going on in the galaxy that I'd love to have more oomph and like meat and potatoes in other places. So that way, when you see a character like a Dengar, you're like, oh shoot, I remember that episode where he went off on this bounty and almost got killed and something like that, or something like that.
And then there was it in Rise of Skywalker? There's that background character, or supposedly Dengar, after he'd done a lot of modifications.
Yeah, he looked really funky.
Yeah, it'd be even kind of neat if you did an episode and show what happened to him to kind of get him, if that is really him, like they say it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
cool.
That would be cool. Just to build up a little bit more. I mean, we're talking about how we would love to have more stuff to bulk up the sequel trilogy to make us be able to, believe that this is how it went and how
It's all funny. It take place on Navarro, and IG-88 just happens to be there, and he bumps into IG-11, and he's like, "What is the matter with you? What are you doing? What is the matter with you? You're not a bounty hunter anymore."
That'd be funny.
I'm a marshal now. I'm a what? Hey, IG-66, get over here. IG-11 thinks he's a marshal.
Just a bunch of IG droids popping up. That'd be funny.
Like on Rudolph when the elves are like, Hermie doesn't like to make toys. Hey, they're all these IGs are sitting there. IG-11 wants to be a marshal. You hear that? IG-11 wants to be a marshal.
He's got the robotic
All of a sudden his programming from when he was a IG-12 comes back and he's like, no.
That'd be good.
They ought to do that if we see IG-11 going forward. That'd be kind of a neat little quirk to give him, like where every once in a while that kicks in and he'll just be talking all of a sudden.
And just kind
of yes, or something like that.
That would be a nice little quirk. Yeah. That'd be funny to tie that in, because that was funny. I always thought it was goofy when he was like being like that baby carrier for Grogu, but it was funny.
It was so stupid. It was funny. No.
Yes. No. I need one of those to walk around my everyday with. Don't want to talk to people? No. But yeah, I think that's the only other thing that I can think of that might be rumors circulating around. Didn't we hear at some point that Obi-Wan wanted to come back and Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor wanted to come back and do more Obi-Wan stuff?
It sounds like he might be in Ahsoka season 2. There might be some more flashbacks. And then there was a rumor that about Natalie Portman too, but that kind of got debunked. Yeah. But how many times do they say, "Oh, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this," and then they're there? That'd be neat. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool, and especially since while we have the actors and actresses, might as well use them to like build up these characters and see them in live action. Because you can always see them in animation later, but like it's so cool to just have them in actual like live action.
Like I said, I wouldn't mind just do a 1-season live action thing that takes place during the Clone Wars, because you got all those actors that can, you can 3PO in it, R2, you can have Palpatine in it. That'd be kind of,
that would be really cool.
Kind of neat. Cool. Then you could even have Cad Bane in it. Any of the Clone Wars people. That'd be kind of,
that would be cool.
Be kind of a neat throwback thing.
For sure.
Live action thing.
For sure.
Speaking of Ahsoka, the Balin getting recasted.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job on his recast. I'm going to look up the actor's name, but for those of you who have watched Game of Thrones, he is the Mountain. And I've only seen him, I've only seen pictures, but I remember seeing a clip of him like fighting this other guy. I've never watched Game of Thrones, but
I've seen clips, but I've never watched the whole series.
I've seen him, like, I think it was him. I think he like grabbed the guy's face and like caved in his eyes or something like that. I was like, oh, okay. But anyway, that's the guy that's doing playing Balin Skull moving forward after the tragic loss of now I feel bad because I forget it. Ray Stevenson. There we go. Yeah. So let me look up the name of the Mountain real quick.
No, it's the Hound, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's the Hound. I'm pretty sure it was the Mountain from that scene I described. The Mountain did that. The Hound is a completely different guy. I just got flamed by all the Game of Thrones people that might have just been watching this.
You sit on a throne of lies.
So the Hound, Rory McCann.
Yeah.
So Rory McCann has been casted to play Balin Skull, as to take up the boots that were left from Ray Stevenson. Which I think, from what I've seen people talk about, they're pretty happy with the recast.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're
unfortunate that we have to go through the recast, but I think he'll do a good job.
I think so.
It's going to be an adjustment, see, because Ray did such a good job with that character. It's going to be, you got Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan here, and Sir Alec Guinness is Obi-Wan here, but there's a time gap there. This is the same time, so
yeah, that's going to be a little bit of adjustment.
But I think if he nails it like I think he will, that'll make it easier.
If he's got like the nomenclature down, just like the attitude and everything like that down, I think it'll be like it's just getting over the looks, I guess, at that point. But no, excited to see what Rory has to offer as Balin Skull, and just curious to see how that story develops anyway when we get Ahsoka season 2 and stuff, and what that's all about.
And they're supposed to start filming that in the summer, are they?
I think so. I can't remember for certain, but I think around that time. So, I think that sounds about right.
So does that mean like maybe fall of 2026 then?
I could see that happening, because if we go off of that, then we would get the Mandalorian and Grogu in the springtime, and then we'd get that in the fall, which we seem to be getting like at least 2 Star Wars products about a year now, give or take, because Andor will be coming out soon and stuff like that. So I guess to kind of put it in a timeline, that would check out. I think, just trying to remember. But yeah, excited to see what that all entails.
Yeah, I'm curious how Celebration will be, how much stuff comes out of Celebration. If it'll just be focused mainly on Andor Season 2, then maybe a teaser trailer for the Mandalorian Grogu movie, and maybe a little hint of a Tales of cartoon series or something. Or are they going to go crazy and start saying, well, this and this? Or have they learned their lesson to stop over promising and announcing stuff? So,
maybe.
Because didn't I see the movie, the beginning of the Jedi Order movie? Was it going to be Dawn of the Jedi? Was that going to?
I think so.
They got like a new writer on it or something. So maybe that one's still in the works or whatever.
Or something. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because they said that guy said he wanted to do back that far back, so he wasn't so bound by the lore that's around the stuff now. So
yeah, which
did I hear rumbling? Somebody said that there was like a Knights of the Old Republic thing being worked on.
Oh, I don't know. I would have thought I would have hit on that.
I think I saw a thing where somebody mentioned that they heard there's something being worked on.
Ooh,
yeah,
that could be good, but they have to do it right. They have to do it right.
You have to stick to the
because like even game wise, because I played the Knights of the Old Republic games, and I love those games. That era time period's got such kind of a cult following in the fan base. Like you kind of have to do it right. And even with the Dawn of the Jedi guy doing the writer and stuff like there, you're at the beginning. You know what I mean? You have to. Like, of course, there's been lore built in legends about like how the Jedi started and everything like that and of that nature. You got to be kind of careful what you're playing with there because that has, even though he's out of the parameters of what we've been delved into now, if you're at the beginning, that has repercussions down the line, especially when you get into like the history of like the Jedi or something like that. So I'd be curious to see if they continue on with that and if that keeps going through and everything like that, what we would see their interpretation and their writing of that. So that it could be very interesting, but it has to be very carefully done, I feel like.
I wonder if Huyang will be in that. Because how old is he? He's like mega old.
Yeah. I can see it. They could put him in something like that. Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, he's really old.
Well, speaking of droids, it just came to my mind how I said cameos by bounty hunters and stuff.
Yeah.
And then if Embo's in that Mandalorian Grogu movie, what was that one episode of the Clone Wars that had all those bounty hunters? There was that one really cool droid bounty hunter.
Was that and he like
Hai Sing or something like that.
I think so. Hai Sing. And he had like all the
he was really cool.
He was really cool. He looked Hai Sing. Didn't he kind of look like what's the droid that builds the lightsabers? Oh yeah, you just said him. So so Hai Sing. I'm just gonna type it in and see if something pops up.
Hai Sing or something.
That's Huyang.
Well, I have to check my fan card here again. I thought it was like Hai Sing or something like that.
Hai Singer.
Hai Singer.
C21 Hai Singer. Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was. Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
I mean, he kind of.
Cool. Yeah, that's close.
Oh yeah, you were close enough. Okay, I guess he kind of looks like who he. Well, maybe not. Maybe I was just kind of like throwing it on there. But yeah, he was a really cool droid. It'd be cool to see him and something.
Ooh, what? Then there's that gal that had like the viney.
Oh yeah,
That'd almost be too like Marvel or superhero.
Yeah, maybe so. But yeah, there's plenty of bounty hunters that they could, if they did like a whole Tales spinoff and talked about bounty hunters, they got tons of bounty hunters they could talk about, even if it's just a one-off episode, or at least, we talked about there's a lot of these characters that we've been introduced to, like, I wonder what they're doing, I wonder what's happening to them, maybe we see an episode just like, oh, this was their fate, this is what happened, they went off and they got taken out in a shootout or something like that. So that it'd just be interesting to see. We just like lore. We like building lore on stuff.
Yeah, I'm imagining it'd be easier to do with like a human character or a humanoid type character, but you watch episodes, it's just one episode about this character, and you see them going about doing this stuff, whatever it might be, but you don't actually see their face. Like maybe they're wearing a hood or something like that, and then, oh, this is interesting. And then at the end, like they would lower the hood or take off a helmet or something, like, oh my gosh, that's so and so. Yeah, that'd be cool. That's what became of them. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It kind of almost like replicates like when we saw Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, where we see this mysterious character just kind of like watching him and stuff, and then we got a shot of his face, like, oh my gosh, it's Boba Fett.
Yeah. When he turned around, it's like, oh yeah. And then another thing like that where he turns around and it's Jar Jar.
Yeah, just you have been bad.
They should do a Jar Jar cameo somewhere along the line.
I think so. I think it's time. Yeah. I think to put him in something.
Yeah, just have them, both of Ahmed Best characters meet each other.
That would be good. That'd be funny.
He's taken off with Grogu to go take him to safety someplace.
Yeah.
And Jar Jar's there. That'd be kind of.
That'd be funny. That'd be funny.
Have him, when he's a Jedi, see Jar Jar and just kind of give him a look as he walks by, like.
He's like, or he goes to talk and uses the Force like.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap things up for today's episode. If you liked the video, be sure to show us by liking down below. And if you want to stay up to date with us, please consider subscribing and following us on our Instagram page at the Scruffy-Looking Podcast. And until next time, may the Force be with you.